June 2019, Vairochana Rinpoche embarked on a sacred journey to Tibet, the birthplace of his predecessor, and to the heart of a land that had once held his soul. On the 17th of June, coinciding with the 15th day of the 4th lunar month, the holiest day in the Buddhist calendar, Rinpoche visited Yeselfu Cave at Tsawarong. That day marked not just a pilgrimage, but a reunion, a meeting between present and past. More than 1,000 years ago, at the age of 35, Vairochana, the great translator and master, had been sent into exile to Tsawarong by King Trisong Desen. Now centuries later, his reincarnation stood once again upon the same soil. Though it was his first visit in this lifetime, Rinpoche spoke of the surroundings as though he had never left. Every word, every description flowed with clarity and detail, as if memories long buried had awakened with each step. Rinpoche turned towards a distant ridge and said that there is a Vairochana's meditation cave behind that mountain. The lumps of Tsawarong nodded in agreement and confirmed that there is a cave. They said it is called Jarong Mardo. The cave is considered very sacred and the one and only main cave. In the car, Rinpoche pleaded with his mother to visit Jarong Mardo, but the visit was not part of the schedule. The path was long, the time too short. And so, with a heavy heart, his mother had to decline. Rinpoche wept throughout the journey.
That's where I meditated.
At the hotel room, his sorrow continued. For over an hour, his tears did not cease. Through his tears, Rinpoche whispered, "If I go to Jarong Mardo, I'll offer prayers that will benefit everyone." He also spoke of two auspicious signs, revelations he wished to share only at that sacred cave.
It's more important than some people where I cried. It's the first best place where I first came to. That was my first best place to ever go.
His mother, moved yet resolute, promised to go next time. To which Rinpoche replied, "Then we will go after province had been hit by massive landslides and flash floods. Thousands of people had to be evacuated to safer areas. The main highway leading to Danba County was completely washed away, leaving no trace behind. Unfortunately, that was the very route leading to Jarong Mardo. The news left the Queen Mother and Rinpoche's mother deeply saddened. For 6 long years, they had waited for this sacred journey. Now that dream seemed uncertain once again. To make matters worse, the organizers presented a new proposal to the Queen Mother to alter the plan and instead travel to Wutaishan, since the damaged road to Jarong Mardo might take over a week to repair. For the Queen Mother and Rinpoche's mother, the long-awaited pilgrimage had turned into a test of faith and patience. Then towards the evening on July 3rd, after completing the offering of prayers, Rinpoche turned to the Queen Mother and his mother with gentle reassurance. "Do not worry," he said softly. "We will make it to Jarong Mardo." The next day, on the morning of July 4th, Her Majesty noticed Rinpoche quietly writing on the hotel's notepad, focused, deliberate, as if recording something of great importance. Moments later, the organizers arrived in a rush of excitement. They had discovered an alternative longer route to Jarong Mardo. However, they informed that the road was narrow and a bit risky. Without hesitation, Her Majesty decided they would go, leaving Rinpoche to finish his writing in a hurry. Rinpoche and his mother traveled in one car, while Her Majesty and Dasho Jigje rode in another. The road was exactly like the organizer described: narrow, risky, and constantly threatened by falling boulders. Many cars along the way wore visible damage from the falling rocks. In the car, Rinpoche's mother noticed him quietly slipping the notepad papers into her handbag. After Rinpoche fell asleep on her lap, she checked the notes. It described a vision he had experienced during the Sukha the pictures that were displayed thereafter unfolded like a living echo of his vision: golden fields, fluttering yellow grass, shimmering waters, the red leaves of the trees. The show ended with 5 brilliant lights appearing on the mountain. Back at the hotel, after learning that the mountain was the abode of the deity Mardo, Rinpoche offered prayers. After completing his prayers, Rinpoche said that since they had to live in a rush, he missed out few important points of his vision. Rinpoche explained that Mahakala wore a helmet and a veil, so his fearsome face would not frighten him. Rinpoche also added that when Buddha hugged him, he felt immense peace.
And now, tomorrow morning, I'll be going to the mountain.
On the morning of July 5th, at 3:15, the journey to Jarong Mardo began. The rain had not eased. Boulders continued to fall. After 3 hours on the road, the group began their trek on foot from the roadhead at 6:30 in the morning. The path was soaked, steep and slippery due to days of continuous rain. Midway through the climb, Rinpoche suffered from mountain sickness and began to vomit. Frequent rests and the group's collective care allowed him to continue. As the entourage neared the cave, another challenge arose. A swollen waterfall had engulfed the final stretch of the path, turning it into a furious torrent. The crash of falling stones echoed sharply from above, and below them lay a dangerous cliff. Seeing the risk, for a moment Her Majesty hesitated. The thought of returning crossed her mind, but her inner intuition made her pause. They had come this far, overcoming every obstacle along the way. Returning was not an option. With quiet determination, Her Majesty decided that the journey must continue. With no other choice, Rinpoche and Her Majesty had to be carried across the raging current on someone's back, their lives entrusted to the strength and devotion of their companions. A single slip would mean certain death. Against all odds, the group crossed safely. By the time they reached the sacred cave in the early morning, the rain had ceased and the sun emerged softly as though nature itself was offering its blessings. At that very moment, Tashotsering Doji played a jolling melody on his mobile phone, guiding Rinpoche gently toward the sacred cave. The place was serene and breathtaking, and remarkably, size and shape of the cave were exactly as Rinpoche had described in Tsawarong 6 years ago. It was the 10th day of the 5th lunar month, Guru Rinpoche's birth anniversary. On this auspicious day, Rinpoche entered his predecessor's cherished cave. The lone meditator who had remained in this sacred place for the past 18 years offered Guru Rinpoche's hat and mandala offering of body, speech and mind. Rinpoche, who had been suffering from mountain sickness, began to feel better almost immediately after the ceremony, as though the blessings of the place embraced him. Rinpoche then offered Mahakala prayers. 6 years earlier, Rinpoche had said that if he ever managed to visit Jarong Mardo, he wished to offer prayers for every one of us. We are deeply fortunate that he fulfilled this aspiration on this auspicious day. But in the midst of offering the prayers, Rinpoche suddenly began to cry, his voice trembling until he could no longer utter a single word. For a brief, powerful moment, time stood still. Those present were reminded of a similar scene at Chimpu Cave 6 years ago, an unforgettable moment filled with the same profound emotion.
I would like to say that nothing would have been possible without.
When he finally completed his prayers, Rinpoche turned to thank everyone who had helped him reach this sacred place despite all the challenges. He said he felt as though he had finally come home. Then, with deep sincerity, he shared the reason behind his tears.
These aren't cries of sadness, like I said. These are the cries of happiness. I thank everyone here today.
Since the day was of great significance, Rinpoche asked everyone to leave, choosing to meditate alone inside the sacred cave. While Rinpoche was in meditation, the monk prepared a simple tea and snack for him. When he stepped out, Rinpoche shared tea with everyone. He then turned to Her Majesty and his mother, gently asking if they too felt happy to have come to this sacred place. After a while, 2 men from Jarong village arrived. They informed the entourage that they should leave. Rinpoche and the group began their return from Jarong Mardo at 10:45 in the morning. The descent proved more difficult than the climb, as the rain-soaked path had become slippery and treacherous. Rinpoche's mother grew increasingly worried about how they would cross the Solan waterfall on the way back. However, upon reaching the site, they found that the water had miraculously subsided, making the crossing surprisingly safe and manageable. The 2 villagers from Jarong shared that only a few months earlier, 11 people had slipped and lost their lives on this very path. Hearing that, the entourage understood how dangerous their journey had been and how blessed their return was. From where they stood, the Barkham Tsawarong Ridge could be seen clearly. 6 years earlier at that very ridge, Rinpoche had said that if he ever managed to visit Jarong Mardo, he had 2 signs to reveal. Now, since Rinpoche is 12 years old, his recollection of past life has passed the age limit, yet Rinpoche experienced a vision one in which, besides meeting Buddha, he also met Mahakala in the form of deity Mardo, who took an oath to accompany him and clear all obstacles on his path. And remarkably, the path they walked began to mirror that vision, discovering an alternative route, spending the night at the foot of the sacred mountain and in the amphitheater, displaying everything exactly the same scenes Rinpoche has seen in his vision, was no coincidence but the real sign of miracle. For 6 long years they had waited for this journey, and now, despite every obstacle, every fear, every moment of uncertainty, they returned safely, fulfilling a dream long held. For Her Majesty the Queen Mother Ajidoji Wangmo Wangchuk, this was especially meaningful. 6 years ago, she had promised Rinpoche that she would accompany him to fulfill his final wish connected to his past life. Although she is now 70, Her Majesty trekked every step alongside the group throughout the arduous journey, an inspiring and miraculous feat in itself. The entourage returned to Chengdu on the same day. 3 hours after leaving Danba County, they heard the news that the road they traveled had been washed away by landslides. The sign was unmistakable. It was as though a portal had opened just for their pilgrimage and closed immediately after. After a 6-hour drive from Danba, the entourage reached Chengdu in the evening. That night, they received a picture of Mardo's prayer and a picture of deity Mardo carved onto a stone thousands of years ago. What astonished them was the inscription beneath it, stating that deity Mardo had taken an oath to serve Guru Rinpoche and Vairochana for all times to come. This matched perfectly with Rinpoche's own vision, in which Mahakala vowed to accompany him and remove all obstacles. The alignment of these two sacred signs reaffirmed that despite the many challenges faced on the pilgrimage, deity Mardo had indeed protected them throughout. Rinpoche had also mentioned 6 years ago in Tsawarong that when he arrived there in exile, he did not walk but rode a white horse, another detail closely linked to deity Mardo and his white horse. On the morning of 10th July, Rinpoche visited the temples at Wutaishan. At 4:50 in the morning, Rinpoche offered prayers with 27 Buddhist monks at Pusading Monastery. Remarkably, the day coincided with his Bhutanese birthday. It symbolized the closing of the first chapter of his life and the beginning of a new phase as he prepares to join Tango University next year. Visiting Manjushri at such a pivotal moment was deeply auspicious. On this blessed day, receiving the blessings of knowledge and clarity from Manjushri, the embodiment of wisdom,